So, a lot of things happened between the last video and this. Of course, as you can imagine, quite a bit of time was spent designing the actual frame itself. This pretty much consisted of me spending a lot of time in front of the computer, a lot of time on my rear, mashing it on the chair, contemplating, theorizing, trying to calculate, things like space, how much room I'm going to have for things, and plus, how to fit my smoke device that I made up. It's got to fit in here somewhere. So I had to think about how to create all this. Of course, this is something I 3D printed. I'm going to sand it down and burn in some lines and all that, and make it a little bit fancier. And that's going to kind of give some of the aesthetical qualities to kind of give it feel of steampunk, or whatever I'm going to call this. Yeah, steampunk, the closest thing I can think of. But after the movie Wild Wild West, it was like the greatest and lowest moment ever for steampunk. It was like, it was great, but it was terrible. So, anyways, we're gonna kind of think of the positive aspect of it. So, what we've got here is a frame set up. Of course, there's more pieces to it. You can see from the drawing that I have, to the magic of video editing, you're going to be able to see before you. These pieces are going to snap in. I was hoping to make this all one piece, but my laser cutter didn't quite have the range, the capacity to machine something out, or to laser cut this whole thing out. So I had to cut this in half. But I'm going to splice it together. It should be plenty strong. Got some little pieces of wood I'm going to use to brace it and all that on all the right places. So we should be good to go. Well, pretty much to get to this point, you have to know all your hardware, all the things that you want to do, all the battery requirements. So of course, the battery is going to be in that tank we saw. You want to make sure these things are spaced off for rotor diameter. The other thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to make sure that I tried to put these where the rotor wash wasn't overlapping onto the frame. Try to overlap as little as possible, because most of the actual thrust comes from more of the outer part of the propeller. Because you think about it, the faster something is moving, the more force you're going to put on it, and the further out you go, the faster the propeller is spinning, so therefore more lift is being created. So to kind of balance it out, most of these props are actually designed where towards the root you have a higher angle of attack, and then as you go out it narrows out, so that way you have a more distribution across it. But anyways, besides some theory of aerodynamics and all that fun crap, really it's basically the point of this video is to show how I got from here to there. And of course, I'm not really totally done designing yet. I've got some ideas. I got some things I want to shove in there. Got some other cool things I want to do. So I could spend a lot more time in front of the computer designing, but I'm more of a visual person. I want to see it. I want to feel it, touch it, and see how things work. And plus, you also find out all the things that you could have probably done better that you might do if there's a version 2 of this. I can do it in a version 2. So essentially, this is going to be where the tank is going to go. The battery, got some places to put some landing gear skids. I'm going to make that carbon fiber. I'm going to paint it to make it look like metal. Carbon fiber is just so much lighter than metal, and to this I need it to be as light as possible. So thus far, the weight has been pretty decent. It's not quite all the pieces. It's most of them, it's not quite all of them. The other pieces are pretty small, so we're going to shove it. So we've got, it's probably going to be about 400 grams for the entire frame. Maybe slightly more, include the landing gear. So just about a pound. So not too bad. I was hoping it would be a little bit lighter, but this ended up being a little bit larger footprint than I was first envisioning. I had this nagging feeling these little motors are not going to be enough. I have hope since there's not going to be a camera gimbal and all that, it may not be a big deal. And I don't plan on this thing flying. I'm not trying to go for an endurance run. If this thing flies for 7-8 minutes, it's fine. Just to get up in the air, take some pictures of it, show it to people, have the smoke billowing out, hopefully only in the way that was intended and not due to some failure somewhere else. So it's mostly going to be aesthetics. It's not going to be something that's going to last for a long time. It's mostly just to get it in the air long enough to do a few things, show off a little bit, brag to your friends and family, brag on Facebook, brag on YouTube or whatever social media takes over Facebook. The plywood is strong. It's not real strong this way. It's real strong this way. So it doesn't like being pulled apart. It doesn't like, it can also be compressed pretty well too. It does pretty good compression. Doesn't do too good anywhere else. So to take advantage of the strength of it, everything's going to be braced in a way that we're going against the long edge restraint. So here, since these aren't too long, I have these pretty narrow. Since this goes out much further, of course, it's going to need to be a little bit meatier towards the root as it comes down. We can narrow down here. So that's pretty much not much more to say. The frame is open like this because I'm planning on cutting out ABS and to create panels through here. So this is all going to look like metal. The top is going to have all kinds of things. I've got this little thing it's actually going to act as I'm going to put some tubing in here that acts as the air induction here. So a lot of things went into this, a lot of thought, having to find a place to put the ESCs, flight controller and all that, having a way that I can access it, actually, and also got some motor shrouds, so that way I can hide the motors in here, and plus get an outlet here for tubing. And what's going to happen is that I've got all the tubing's going to be running through this, and everything's going to be hidden wire-wise. So we should have all the electronic gizmo stuff in the smoke generator is going to all end up inside the body here. And then from outside of it, all you're going to see is some plastic pieces that are painted to look like metal, and then the metal tubing going out to go for the motors. Well, that's step 2 of, well, really more like step 3 of my creative process. So now that I have a physical structure that should be designed large enough to accommodate everything that I need with points and all that allows me the flexibility, I'm probably going to have to do do a floor underneath here to mount this, since that didn't quite line up. You had to start somewhere. That's pretty much what happens. Of course, in order to make a version 2 of this, I probably make sure that the floor supports are built into this piece here for the bottom, but I don't feel like making another one. It's really not that big of a deal. I can just glue them in place and be less trouble than trying to redo it. But I will update the drawing. That's one thing that you want to do, is that even if you don't think you'll make another one of these, what you want to do is, if you find a problem, fix it right away, because you will forget and you won't remember until next time you try to make something and it's like, oh, I remember that problem. I wish I would have updated the drawing when I thought of it. So anytime you find a problem, update it right away. Don't wait, don't procrastinate. You will forget, I promise you. I have done this several times. So find a problem, fix it in the drawing, even if you don't plan on making another one, because you never know.